That's from our friends in New Zealand, Grant and Tasha, who have been real pioneers in introducing mindfulness into the education system, which is a global movement that's really growing as social and emotional learning. And I think in this spirit, we'd like to ask all of you just to stand up for a moment and play a little bit, okay? So if you have anything in your hands, put it down. And turn around, and the first person that you see, just find a partner, okay? And step out so that you can like stand across from your partner. You'll have to stand in the aisles a little bit.
Give yourself some space.
So if you don't have a partner, raise a hand, okay? And look for somebody else with their hand. Somebody over here needs a partner. Okay, you got one right behind you there?
Right behind you.
Okay, so somebody else needs a partner there? Anybody else need a partner? Somebody over here needs a partner. Did you get one? Come on over here. Okay, good. So this is a mindfulness exercise. For a moment, just maybe reach up, touch your heart, close your eyes, and just be mindful of standing here in anticipation. Okay?
Did he get somebody?
Be mindful of being in anticipation. Raise your hand if you need a partner still.
You still need a partner. One more person.
Okay.
Anyone else? I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Great. So Michelle's going to come out and be your partner. All right. So just be mindful of how it feels in your body to be standing here, maybe a little self-conscious. Actually, we've got a group of 3 here.
Where's a group of 3?
Yeah, so how about one of you go back with him? Yeah. This is about risk-taking and simulating stress in a safe environment. So it's fine. So be mindful of any thoughts, any emotions, how this lives in your body. Then when you're ready, open your eyes and just stand and see and be seen. And just notice how that feels within you. Just be mindful of being in the presence of somebody, looking at them and having them look at you, and just the whoosh of energy or emotion or thoughts that are there for you. Okay. And if you don't know each other, you could introduce yourself. You know, my name is whatever. Okay. And then watch Michelle and I. We'd just like to do a little leadership exercise here. So put your
doing some mindful movement.
right hand up, index finger to index finger, like this, like so. Okay, and whoever is tallest, whoever is shortest, you're the leader. Whoever is shortest, you're the leader. Move your finger. And if you're the taller person, then you follow the person who's shorter as they move their finger, okay? This is a mindfulness exercise. No talking. No talking. So the shorter person is leading. The taller person is trying to stay connected and attuned. No talking. And just be mindful of how this is touching you, stretching you. Okay, now the taller person begin to lead. Shorter person follow. And then the shorter person lead again.
Just look at me, don't look at the finger.
And just see how you can find the greatest ease and flow and harmony within yourself and between yourselves with this. Taller person lead now. And then staying connected, nobody lead, and see what happens. Are you just still, or is there some movement that happens just by staying connected? All right. Then just take a moment and thank your partner.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Mi partner.
And okay. Find another partner. Find another partner, okay? Raise your hand if you need a partner. Raise your hand if you need a partner. Couple people over there.
Here.
Somebody needs a partner too. They just did it together, so
Now, cambiar.
so maybe swap with another. Anybody else need a partner? Okay, over here. Hector over there. Oh, you did before, okay. Hector needs a partner, okay? Okay, there we go.
With a red shirt. Yeah.
Okay. You survived the last exercise.
No, you should do with fours too.
Okay. Now,
Left hand.
Left hand.
Other hand.
Left hand, okay. The taller person begin. Quiet, no talking. Silencio.
Silencio. Oh, you're.
Okay. And then the shorter person lead. And then close your eyes, and the shorter person's still leading. Stay connected. Be mindful what you have to do to stay connected. Eyes closed. And then the taller person lead, eyes closed. Shorter person again, eyes closed. Okay, eyes open again. All right. And now, see if you can find another group of two next to you.
So groups of four.
Groups of four. We may have a group of six here and there. That's not a problem. Group of four. Right index fingers together.
In the center.
Right index fingers together in the middle. Everybody. In the middle.
All four people are connecting.
So all four 1 point. Yeah,
that's
it.
interesting. In the center, yeah.
Yeah, everybody in the center.
That's good.
Okay, the tallest person lead.
No, we stopped.
Shortest person lead. We can just watch it. Quiet. Just join the group, okay? So, yeah.
We can have five.
Hey,
Make
come,
room.
invite this friend in. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
So, shortest person is leading.
Just mindful without speaking.
See what it takes to stay connected, be at ease. Okay, the next person, the next tallest person, the next shortest person starts to lead. Just be mindful, mental, emotional, physical experiences. Okay, the next taller person, you begin to lead. And then the tallest person, you lead. Tallest person leads.
Should they debrief?
Yeah.
In a small group?
Yeah.
What they
Or
notice?
what are you learning about mindfulness and leadership and being a good team member? Okay. And then everybody just giggle together, just a little moment of laughter and let it go. Okay.
Okay, now in your little group, just for a few moments with each other, just share, debrief what you're learning through this exercise of mindful attunement and movement. What are you learning about leadership, about being a good team together, paying attention? What was the difference that you noticed with the different partners, with the whole group? Just take a little time to share your experience mindfully.
Never got a standing ovation for that. You gotta take a photo. Maybe just stand over there on the stage and I'll get a photo.
I got out of that one.
What's the name of the fellow who's saying it by?
Miguel.
Miguel.
He's Consul of Israel, has honorary Israeli consulate here in Mexico.
Wow.
So we're talking. Kind of helps people kids get scholarships to go.
He's a sweet guy. He took me over to that room. We were talking and he said, "Oh, come."
I had thought and we experimented with it.
Yeah.
Breathing deeply while we're doing that.
Yes.
Good.
Because as a leader, you don't always
you
let
hope-
yourself lead.
Yes.
If you breathe deeply and you're mindful about it, it just flows.
That's wonderful. This afternoon after lunch, we'll do some more, like probably out in this space. And we'll mention that as a strategy, okay?
Well, I think it can help.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Definitely.
That's good.
Good
Thank you.
learning. Thank you.
Okay, take maybe one more minute. One more minute. Maybe we can just get a little sample. What are you learning about mindfulness, leadership, being
What
a
it
team
takes to
member?
be a good leader. While people are standing, or after they go back to their seat?
Maybe standing.
Get a sample? Should I ask the question?
Yeah, let's see if we can get a mic.
Oh.
Begin to wrap it up with your team. You can stay in your groups, and can we get a hand mic to get some comments? Can we get a hand mic that we could pass around? Okay, we like to thank your amigos.
Gracias. Yeah, stay together.
Okay, good. So let's get some comments.
Let's get a few samples, if we can find the microphone. But what are you learning from this exercise, this mindfulness exercise, about being, what it takes and what helps to be a good leader? And to be a good follower as well.
We've got a microphone here.
Okay.
Just raise your hand. What are you learning?
Let's get a few reflections. What did you learn about
Or what was
leading?
the value of this exercise? Either way.
Yeah. Anyone like to share a learning? What-
There's a hand way down there, and one actually behind you here too. So.
Gracias, buenos días. Pues muy breve la reflexión. Uno de nuestros compañeros, cuando le tocó guiar, nos puso a prueba, a ver si iba muy bien y de repente se detuvo. Y dijo, yo nada más estaba viendo a ver si alguien se seguía, ¿no? Y conversamos acerca de nuestros equipos en los campus que están trabajando ahora, pues a lo mejor como si estuviéramos así, pero nosotros acá y ellos allá, no lo sé. También pienso que un líder es muy importante que sea un buen seguidor de un líder. Y este ejercicio también me hizo pensar en eso. Muchas gracias.
Wonderful. There was another hand over here. I don't know if there's any in between. Yeah, a couple hands over here. Mike coming there. Okay. Gracias.
Hi. What I realized was we did the part, right? So there was presence, there was attunement, then there was the resonance, and then there was the trust, all in that little exercise.
Beautiful.
Great.
That's what I experienced.
Nice.
Excellent. And somebody else at your table, I think, had a hand up. Was that the same thing? Okay. Yeah.
A mí me gustó mucho el ejercicio, realmente me tocó 2 clases de ejercicio. Me tocó una de 3 personas, el primer ejercicio me tocó de 3 personas y fue impresionante cómo con una mano seguía y con la otra mano guiaba. Y las personas entraron rápidamente en sintonía y hubo sinergia, ¿no? Eso me pareció muy bueno, muy agradable de este ejercicio. Y luego me tocó con mi otra pareja. Y entonces mi otra pareja, yo me dejé llevar y cuando tantito la empujaba ya entendía que ahora guiaba yo. Entonces considero que es muy importante de ser líder, guiar, pero también de recibir retroalimentación en el momento adecuado, o sea, saber en qué momento también necesitamos ser receptivos, ¿no? Me pareció muy clave este ejercicio. Muchas gracias.
Fantastic. Over here.
Hector. Oh, okay.
A mí lo que me tocó experimentar es, pues de entrada, lo que siente es una barrera, por lo mismo que pues son compañeros nuevos, no los conocían, ¿verdad? Nos conocemos, pero durante el ejercicio se van rompiendo esas barreras, el lograr ese contacto con las personas hace que las barreras caigan. Y otra es que también sentí que era más fácil seguir a la persona cuando uno cierra los ojos, que yo creo que eso simboliza la confianza, ¿no? La confianza que se tenga en el líder, ¿sí? El sentirlo cercano es lo que hace que uno no se pierda, ¿verdad? Y cuando uno liderea, pues a veces uno va a su propia velocidad, ¿verdad? Y como líder debes de tener la sensibilidad de poder detectar cuándo hay que esperar a las demás personas para acompañarlas, ¿sí? Saber a qué ritmo van ellos para que todos nos movamos a la misma velocidad, ¿verdad? Y poco a poco irnos moviendo más rápido o más lento dependiendo de los movimientos, ¿verdad? Y también percibí que los movimientos pues de cada persona son diferentes, yo creo que simboliza la personalidad de cada uno de nosotros. Hay los que se movían para arriba, para abajo, otros en una manera más cuadrada, otros en una manera redonda, y pues eso no es ni bueno ni malo, simplemente es la personalidad de la persona y es aprender a comprenderlo.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And each person we interact with has a different style, a different set of needs. And our challenge, you know, if you start to really understand this, then each encounter becomes an opportunity to get better at tuning into people. Each conversation is an opportunity to practice mindfulness and really show up. And you not only learn more about the person that you're speaking to, you learn more about yourself. Okay? So that, just imagine, how many of you have more than a dozen interactions with people during a day? How many of you have more than 24? How many of you have hundreds of even brief encounters? Each of those is an opportunity to practice mindfulness, to really show up. And there will be times when you're anxious, or you feel self-conscious, or you're awkward. That, show up for that. No problem. And then move through and see if you can find resonance and trust and connection.
Yo quería, además de agradecerles, fue un excelente ejercicio, pero una de las cosas que disfruto mucho cuando visito los campus es interactuar con el equipo directivo, es decir, el director de campus y el equipo que reporta directamente al director de campus. Y lo que disfruto mucho es observar. Y nada más quisiera que guardaran este momento, porque algo de lo que yo siempre abogo es que pues todos los que están en un equipo directivo tienen mucho que contribuir, que tienen excelentes ideas y que también quienes tenemos el privilegio de dirigir un grupo, un equipo de trabajo, pues significa que a veces también debemos dejar que otros nos lideren a nosotros mismos. Y por eso me encantó el ejercicio y quisiera que se lo llevara muy presente, porque a quienes tenemos a veces ese impulso por lograr cosas, de repente se nos puede olvidar que hay otras personas que pueden contribuir enormemente con la diversidad de ideas. Y a veces visito un campus donde puedo visualizar con nombre y apellido, pero no voy a ventanear a nadie, donde a veces el que habla es el director del campus y el equipo se queda callado. Y a veces eso realmente quisiera nada más reflejárselo. En mayor o menor medida, yo creo que me incluyo, todos traemos un poquito de ese DNA, que de repente tomamos el micrófono en las juntas de enfoque o en cualquier reunión y se nos olvida realmente la gran riqueza que está en el equipo directivo y la gran oportunidad que tenemos y la obligación de desarrollar al resto de colaboradores y que se arriesguen a aventar sus ideas, a compartirlas, a retarnos y que realmente, pues acuérdense que la verdad no existe y que realmente estamos construyendo y consolidando una universidad y eso es posible si los líderes también nos dejamos liderar en las fortalezas de nuestros compañeros. Entonces me encantó el ejercicio. Gracias.
Wow. You got a lot of value from that simple exercise. Yeah.
There's a principle of wellness that is really, this exercise reminds me of, and especially the last comment about the different partners, and it says that the greater the differentiation, the more differences and the more linkage, connection of those differences, the higher the potential for wellness is. Greater differentiation, greater linkage. So in this exercise, with each partner being different heights, different styles, but yet keeping connected and building that trust can really promote, take us to higher levels than we could by ourselves. Thank you.
Wow.
So we're going to build on this exercise now.
Yeah, we're sort of playing jazz with our outline here, and that's kind of fun. So we're going to just follow the energy here. I love this slide from the UNESCO Charter where it reminds us that wars and conflicts begin in our minds. And it's in the mind that we have to erect the ramparts of peace. And this powerful quote from Dina Metzger where he says, there are those that are trying to set fire to the world. We are in danger. There is time only to work slowly. There is no time now not to love. I think, the word respect, at least the word respect in English is like respect, to look, spectacle, like spectacle, to look again. And to appreciate mindfulness when you're with somebody and you're really being mindful of them, you're really giving them your attention, you're showing respect. If you're sitting there playing with your device, if you're not listening, you're not showing respect. So just to play your part, to really be able to show up with the individuals or the groups or the classes that you're with, and to be aware of what's going on within you and between you and do the best you can. This is a really radical act. Oops. So, can you imagine working in organizations where innovation and creativity and finding solutions to huge technical problems or social problems is really, really important? And can you imagine the capacity of a group of people, let's say a group of research people, a group of social scientists trying to find solutions to huge challenges in the world? And imagine Team A and B. Team A doesn't have trust, doesn't pay attention to each other. People don't have the mindfulness skills. They don't know how to manage their stress. They have an important mission, but their capacity to deliver on that mission is really severely limited. There's a lot of toxicity. People don't share energy and information. It's just not flowing. Yet they have huge challenges to meet. Imagine Group B, where they were here in this room today. They have been practicing mindfulness and learning how to master stress. They have had the courage to show up in relationships and go through those awkward moments of self-consciousness and fear to find trust and connection and energy and information flow. Team B has learned how to trust each other and communicate well and to listen to each other in deep kinds of ways. And their capacity is so much greater. So, to me, one of the most supreme and highest implications of the work that we're doing is, can you imagine groups of people really trying to create a better world and find solutions to the huge complex issues that we have, who have these kinds of skills and can really listen deeply together for intuition, for inspiration, for creativity, like an array of telescopes looking at the sky, all gathering information that then gets integrated and assembled. We've seen this happen in large organizations. We were working with a big chemical company at one point, doing intuitive breakthroughs in creativity and innovation through methods of shared mindfulness and deep listening. You could almost say deep prayer, really, to hold a question, just so deeply in your heart, in that quiet mind, and kind of let the ripple of that yearning to find the solution ripple out and draw back inspiration. And then each person kind of shares what they found. We've seen this in many organizations we've done this work in. In this chemical company, an engineer at one point said, we said, okay, somebody guided us through the problem, what it looked like, and we all kind of listened deeply for what's going on here, what's the solution, what are some clues, let's assemble the pieces of the puzzle and see if we can find the larger picture. One of the engineers said, hey, in response to something, one of the other people said, I smelled something. And one of the other engineers said, what did it smell like? And the guy described it. And they figured out that he had smelled like a waste gas in the manufacturing process that they were spending millions of dollars a year to dispose of. And then somebody said, well, wait a minute, if we combine that gas with this chemical, we can produce this, and that's a product we can sell. They developed a whole new product line. Just coming out of that moment of intuition, of kind of deep listening, of the trust of the group to engage in some practices like this, they developed a multi-million-dollar business just on a whiff, a little smell.
Because they were mindful.
They
of
were
that
mindful
and could
together
share
of
it.
these kind of inspirations arising. And they had the trust to explore in those kinds of ways. All right? So that's one example of how this plays out in organizations. My clicker is only working when I am close. Okay.
It likes the connection.
Okay. So we'd like to explore, how many of you have read any of the work of Dr. Csikszentmihalyi, Positive Psychology, Flow, the Psychology of Optimal Performance, and all that? Yeah, if you're in the positive psych, you know Dr. C's work really well. This is an adaptation of that to some degree. You've got a continuum here of the amount of stress and pressure and complexity. You have this illustration in your book. Over here you have burnout and distress, where there's just so much going on. People are overstressed. Actually, down here you've got rust out. Okay, there's not enough stress. People are bored and frustrated and apathetic and lethargic. At that end of the spectrum, there's so much stress. People are burning out and overwhelmed and not doing a good job. And so the red curve is the level of stress. As a clinician, I saw as many really bored, stressed out engineers as I saw overwhelmed and burning out engineers. And then they were both sick on both ends of the spectrum. Here we've got optimal performance. The performance is low when you're in the rust out zone. It's low when you're in burnout. But when you're in the zone, when you're in that zone of optimal performance, when you've got a sense of clarity with regards to what the task is or the goal or the purpose, where you've got a sense of control, where these different factors are in place, it's more likely trust could be here in the center. It's more likely that you're going to be working at peak levels of performance. And when you're in the zone, your stress levels are low, your performance is high, the system is thriving, people are fulfilled through the work that they're doing. And as leaders and managers, part of our job is to recognize the people that are over here on this continuum and give them more challenges to help them get to the zone. And the people on that end of the spectrum that are overwhelmed, how can we, maybe help them delegate a little bit more or develop more skills so that they can reduce the overload they're experiencing to come into the zone. So we'd like to just take a little while and invite you. If you have anything in your hands or you're writing, just set it down for a moment. And maybe just close your eyes and just find your breath. Be mindful of breathing in, sensations of the breath as you breathe in, mindful of the breath, breathing out. And gently smile to yourself, touching that open, clear awareness that can observe the flow of changes of breath, sensations, mind states. Moment to moment and breath to breath. And then we'd like to invite you to remember and search for memories of moments in your life when you were in the zone.
Either at work or beyond work, sports and music, by yourself or on a team. Just kind of look back or look into your life as a whole and just look for those moments, those times that really stand out and sparkle to you as moments of peak experience, of being in that zone, that sweet spot.
And as you remember moments in your life or circumstances in your life when you were in the zone, really see if you can remember, what did it feel like in your body? What were the qualities of aliveness or emotion or perception that were part of the experience? What were the circumstances that allowed you to come into that moment of grace and ease and flow, well-being? Perhaps you're remembering one time when you were in the flow, perhaps glimpses of many times. Times working on projects at work or playing or in nature, times alone or with others. When life was as good as it could be. And you were fully alive in this extraordinary kind of way. And maybe consider, if you wanted to have more moments of being in the zone in your life, in the flow, what might you want to remember or pay attention to? What practices or strategies might help you to find your way back to this kind of magical, special, alive, graceful quality of being? And then with an let this reflection come to a close. Just rest in open awareness again for a moment. And as you do, just notice what's alive within you. Be mindful of what's alive within you, having reflected on times in the zone. How many of you just through that reflective meditation feel better or feel good? Yeah, that was a positive experience in itself, just to remember those times. How many of you could remember a time when you were in the zone when you were at work? Okay, raise your hand high. How many of you can remember a time when you were in the zone playing sports? How many of you remember a time in the zone when you were in nature? When you were in an intimate relationship? Yeah? How many of you remember a time when you were in the zone when you were with other people? How many of you remember a time when you were in the zone when you were alone? Okay. How many of you remember a time when you were in the zone when it was safe and peaceful and at ease? And how many of you remember a time when you were in the zone when it was dangerous or complex? Yeah. Do you understand? It's sort of like we're all just kind of like on the edge, waiting to tumble into those moments of grace and aliveness and perfection, That sweet spot is always there. Like mindfulness is always like hovering in the background, waiting for you to come home. Just to wake up and just be mindful of what's already there. The zone is always there, waiting for you to come home to it, in a sense, okay? So So what we'd like you to do is with one other person. If there is a group of 3, it's okay, but time-wise, you won't have as much time. So ideally, 1-to-1 with one other person. Just reflect on remembering times when you were in the zone, and you want to kind of do this like scientists together, trying to understand what is this human resource? How can we understand it, access it more frequently? So reflect on, maybe describe your experience of being in the zone, describe the circumstances that allowed that to happen, what it felt like, what was alive within you. And then also reflect on, do you have any clues or any insights how to get back there? How to open that portal of possibilities to have more moments of being in the flow or being in the zone in your life, okay?
So really investigate this experience to see what was going on both outwardly and inwardly, what was supportive of you stepping into that experience, and how were you showing up on the inside from your own side that made you more available to experience that, the fullness of that time. And how could you be more available potentially in the future?
All right, so you have about 10 minutes, 5 minutes per person. Go for it.
Did you also explore the video of Amelia to see that would work?
They didn't make a translation of that one, though I had it in the slides. That I don't know why they translated the one they did. It's nice, but I do have it, so we could show it, and the translator's good enough. We could show it just before lunch.
Okay.
I think.
I saw it on the screen
Yeah.
at one point. When you looked at me about dyad, I thought you were inviting me. But then you
Sorry.
I had the M.
Yeah.
I was thinking to ask those questions, how many of you this, how many that, but then I thought it would be, because we didn't talk about it before, I was going to do that after they talked. I thought you would induct them, then we'd have a dyad, then I would say, how many of you are alone? Yeah. Okay, so...
Let me just see if I can... Huh. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to show the slide. Let me do it like this.
We could have done it.
No, just a sec. I'll just import it here.
We're doing really good on time this morning. Where do we go from here?
Let me
the
just see if I
elements.
can... Yeah, elements.
The lifelong learning. was surprised when you put in the war stuff.
It just felt like the way in. It just felt like the way in. I'm really having trouble finding it.
Some are doing dyad, some are doing a whole table.
If you haven't changed partners, the second person can share.
Be nice if everybody had a chocolate cookie to eat after.
Hmm?
Be nice if everybody had a chocolate
Yeah,
biscuit
that would be
to
great.
do. They have cookies out there.
Okay, if we can get our slides back up, tech people. Tech folks.
Yeah, he's got it.
Thank you.
How come I have tape and you don't have tape? You don't have tape, but I have tape. Oh, because your
I have
beard.
a beard. They'd have to. I suggested they do a piercing and they could wire it to the piercing. Coming out of this, you want to just ask how many of you feel really good having talked about it, and just what do you notice, and just get a sampling of different factors that they noticed.
Do you have the elements of the zone?
I do. Think we want to show that with them to them afterwards.
But that would come after,
That
right?
would be after, yeah.
Okay.
Just tease it out from them. Okay, begin to wrap it up. Begin to thank your partner and wrap it up.
So, how many of them felt good, and what was the feelings?
Or just, unpack it however you want.
What did you suggest?
How many of you were in the zone just discussing it or whatever?
But there was another question.
Yeah,
Oh, it's good.
yeah.
What would you say?
Just how many, was that a positive experience, just reflecting?
After that part, you had something else.
I don't
There's
have
not
it.
much for that.
But then
You said get a
unpack it.
sampling.
No, unpack it. You know, what did they experience? What did they notice? What are the elements in their
The
own
whole,
words?
the whole experience.
Okay, come on back.
It's hard here.
Thank your partners.
So for how many of you was just talking about these peak experiences, just remembering it, this exercise of just reflecting on it in itself, how many of you was that a positive experience? Just to share about being in the zone. Did it have a positive feeling for you? Anybody? Was it of value to remember? Yeah? To reflect? Show of hands? Was it good? Yeah. So let's just unpack what your experiences were. Just some samples of what kind of experiences did you remember? What was going on? What was alive for you? What did it feel like to be in the zone? What was happening on the outside and what was your inner experience? Yes.
Yeah. Hi. For us, it was a great experience. The four of us had different experiences at work, at home, and personal things. And I appreciate each one because each one gave me like a different point of view. How can you get better in something, or how can you enjoy something so easily, like doing gardening? So it was like, I didn't think about that. Maybe it could be a good choice to have some relax or something like that. So it was a great experience to hear them all and also to share my point of view and how can I get into that zone.
Thank you.
Thank
Great.
you.
So expanded appreciation of
Exactly.
different possibilities.
Thank you.
Maybe another one or two example of what was the learning for you, what was going on, how could you be more available to that experience of optimal? Yes. Hi.
Hi, everyone. We were talking about our experiences, but it was not at work. It was more experiences outside work, which were fantastic. And every one of us, we were sharing about, for example, me, I do rock climbing, and I really like that when we were like at the top of it. It's a wonderful experience. And Elena was talking about an experience that she had like a site at the end of the road, and also, well, we were talking, but basically not at work, but it's important that we have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the wholeness of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Thank
did you tease out any, what was going on? There's the nature there in the rock climbing, but what is there on the inside for you that seems to
Well,
help?
especially in rock climbing, every objective that you want to reach, it's there for you.
It's clear. Yeah.
It's clear, so you just have to go for it. You have to have that energy and go for it. So it's like a metaphor. So once you set that goal and you reach for it, and you reach really high for it, you will get it. So that's why you're in the zone, right?
All right, that's a big part of the zone is
Yeah.
a clear goal and that confidence and support.
Exactly.
Great.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Mhm. Thank you.
It's a hand over here. Anybody else want to share, especially what was alive within you during those times?
Yeah, how would you characterize that? Is another hand? Oh.
All right.
Oh, there's a waving hand. Okay.
Thank you. I have a question because in this exercise, I feel a little bit weird in apart when I have these flashbacks of images and moments in my life, and I feel sad in a point. And I don't think it is that I miss that moments or want to have them back. So is that okay to feel that way?
Yeah.
That can be very natural, actually.
How many other people was there, you know, in the reflection or
little-
the dialogue, even a moment of sadness that moment was over or there weren't more of those? Anybody raise your hand?
I see a lot of hands.
Yeah. So even in gratitude, you know, if you're really mindful when you're contemplating gratitude, in gratitude there can be sadness.
We can be grateful even for difficult experiences
You know,
that we grew, but there's some sadness about it too.
there might be frustration, there might be fear that what we're grateful for won't be there in the future or whatever. So as we drop into these experiences in a more mindful way, we experience the full spectrum of our humanity that's there. It's perfectly natural. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you.
How about if in one word, if you were to say what was alive within you when you were in the zone, what would that one word be? You know, just call it out. Energy. What else? Flow. What else?
Happiness, passion.
Passion. Ecstasy. Oxygen.
Very important.
Yeah. Wow, if we could only bottle this, you know, it's like power, emotion. Timeless. How many people have time warped when you were in the zone? Went really fast or went really slow? Yeah?
Or no
Yeah, that's
time
very
at all.
common.
Yes.
So, you know, if you look at the classical literature on it, you have words like this. This is another way to look at and understand the zone.
And
you
these
know.
are just some examples. You could write your own, many more in there.
On this version, which you see more often, you've got the level of challenge and the level of skills to meet the challenge. And when people are in the zone and they're not in burnout or they're not in rust out, there's the experience of grace, being fully alive in the flow, optimal performance, fully present, calm intensity, selflessness, joy. Those are some of the words that you often find when you look at the literature. If you look at the elements of the zone, again, this is from Google Translator. I don't know whether this is a good translation or not, but these are some of the factors that are there. You know, there's a wholehearted focus in the moment. There's a sense of clear goals. There can be a doing without trying. You know, time tends to warp a bit. You know, the classic kind of indicators that we're in the zone, and we look for those. Let's look at it like this. Let's say you have a low level of skills and there's a low level of challenge and you're in the zone, okay? Maybe like your first job, you know? And you were doing really well, and then your boss comes along and says, wow, you're doing so well with that. We'd like to have you do something more complex. And the challenge goes up. What are some words that describe, let's say, as you pop out of the zone here, and all of a sudden the complexity goes up? How does that feel? What are some words that describe that? Stressed? Excited?
Anxiety.
Anxiety, maybe excitement. Determination, yeah? Okay, so the skill goes up. Let's say you pop out of the zone and you want to get back into the zone. What's the strategy if the challenge goes up and you're out of the zone to get back into the zone? What do you need to do? Build confidence. What else do you need to build? Skills. Okay, so challenge goes up. To get back in the zone, you develop skills. Okay, so you develop skills, you get in the zone. If you keep developing your skills and the challenge doesn't go up, how are you going to end up feeling? Frustrated and bored, okay? If you're feeling frustrated and bored, what's the strategy to get back in the zone? Increase the challenge, okay? And if the challenge keeps going up, what's the strategy to get back in the zone? Develop your skills. How long do you think this goes on for? All your life? Yeah? And depending on the metaphysics of your worldview, it could go on for lifetimes, you know, like Groundhog's Day, trying to get it right forevermore. Yeah, so to appreciate lifelong learning, because the zone down here is a different experience than the zone here, and the zone here, and the zone there. And there's a beautiful model that kind of, you know, helps us understand, you know, levels of challenge, levels of skill, how to just navigate our way to move towards ever higher levels of complexity and intensity that we're able to handle in our lives and our work, okay? So take a few minutes at your table just to reflect. If you were to increase the capacity of your whole team or your organization to be more flow friendly, to be more encouraging of people working at higher levels of well-being and performance, what are some of the strategies that you as leaders might want to pay attention to encourage those potentials to come forth more fully? At your tables for a few minutes.